Welcome to Copenhagen. Welcome to this beautiful hall at the National Museum. Certainly, the views here are a bit better than the sound we had at the beginning, at least. So let's hope we'll pick up and get sound up to date as much as the visuals here in the room. Thank you so much, Jacob. Very much agree. This is a quite important area that all of you are experts in. And we're very happy to host you here in Copenhagen for the meeting. Just before I start my small presentation here, thankfully I didn't get the red card, even though I'm already over time according to the schedule. Before I get into it, I would like to just thank the whole team, Erika and the others, including the beautiful picture of Zoe, of course, on the screen. But the team has really worked hard on organizing this event. So thank you very much for the hard work. All right. So you will all be discussing the sea surface temperatures throughout the next couple of days. So I was lucky to get you off just on a slightly broader track. I'll give an overview of what we are doing at the National Center for Climate Research at the Danish Meteorological Institute. So I won't dig into the issues that you are experts in, but give you a broad overview. So first of all, what we when we are at DMI, we've been an institution making observations basically and weather forecasts for the last 150 years. What I'm usually saying is that when we do work on a 150-year timescale, that's when we can say something about the climate. Well, with all of you sitting here, I just probably have to correct that and say it's of course only in the satellite time frame that is needed to say something about the climate. But we do have a slightly longer experience. We also, at the National Center for Climate Research at DMI, we're also the focal point to the IPCC, which means that we're not only delivering information to the IPCC, but also acting as the governing body from Denmark and the Kingdom, including Greenland and the Faroe Islands, at the IPCC plenaries. So both organizing with the other countries of the world, what are the issues that IPCC is going to work with, and when the work is done, how can we sum that up in these famous summaries for policymakers? That's our task as well. And finally, we are in the Danish climate law. Denmark has a climate law as the first country in the world, actually. And in the Danish climate law, our institution is appointed as the official advisor to the government on climate science. So whenever the Danish government and the Danish parliament has a question on climate science, what's up with the different anomalies, or what is the at stake in different areas, they ask us and we provide an answer, of course, through engagement with a broader society and community, including on the sea surface temperatures, of course, with all the knowledge that is gathered in this room and with your colleagues. What we do work with in the National Center for Climate Research is a number of different climate-related areas, both operational and scientific. We use a lot of different disciplines, including modeling, both global, regional, statistical analysis, and of course observational, especially from the satellite data, which we are very much engaged with Jacob and others. We do aim to become world class in a few different areas of our work, not all, of course, a few different areas of our work, but also world class in communicating that knowledge to the broader society. So really what we are working very hard with is how to bridge the scientific endeavors that we work with and how to communicate that to the broader society, including the government. Key research areas for us, future weather and especially extremes, and the bridge to climate resilience, very much in a Danish context, but increasingly also in a number of other broader settings. Especially polar climate change. We've been working in the Arctic for many years. Not that long in Antarctica, but also in that area as well by now. And finally, the whole question of global climate and in an increasing scale also on the tipping points that may or may not affect us in the future. Many of these tipping points, of course, are related to the Arctic and Antarctica, but not all of them, of course. So besides some of the things that you are going to delve into for the next coming of days, what we do work a lot with is also climate services as one example to make this bridge between science and community. We use our modeling to convene, of course, the global projections, the regional projections that we make ourselves as well, and a statistical downscaling of that into a climate atlas of Denmark. We use many different sources, including modeling and observations, to make the climate atlas and use that to inform decision making in Denmark in a large number of areas, both relevant for climate adaptation, but also for other types of decision making in the private sector and in the government sector at a different level, both state and municipalities in Denmark. And we, as I mentioned, engage very much in outreach, different types with the Danish society. We do this a lot, both on very specific issues, but also on the broad agendas that are covered in the media. Not always very hard science communication, but also in the many different questions arising on climate science and how the global climate is developing. The bridge to the IPCC, as I mentioned, is one which is particularly important for us. Of course, delivering the information for the IPCC to consider, but also taking down the messages from the IPCC again and communicating this to the broader public. So, as you know, the IPCC is even though we have famous summaries, they are not always very easy to digest for the public. So communicating the broader perspectives to the public is something that we work very hard on. And when there are a number of years, 5 to 7 years between the IPCC main reports, and things are evolving, of course, in the scientific community, what we also do is, as the government science advisor, is to make smaller assessments whether or not there are new information that may or may not push any of the IPCC conclusions in any particular directions before the new IPCC assessments are coming out. So this is something that we use a lot of our energy on. We do all of this, of course, in close collaboration with many of you and many others, of course. I think just there are enough acronyms here to sink a small ship, perhaps, and you may know a lot of them. Just not going into the specifics here, but just to make a few highlights. Working, of course, with the sea surface and ice surface temperature data, and bridging these is something that we have really worked hard on and have gotten great results on. that you'll hear much more on in the coming days. Another area is marine heat waves. As you know, many things happened in this area the last few years, and some of the information will be shared with you in the coming days as well. And the example here is the share of the global oceans that had affected by heat waves in last year, which was by far the highest amount so far in the timeline that we can monitor. Also using some of the methodologies to work on the surface of Antarctica for melting and firn properties, and determining the fresh water fluxes in Antarctica, both using in situ and satellite observations in combination with modeling. The Arctic, of course, and Arctic amplification is another area that we have worked with. Also getting quite interesting results on the sea surface temperatures and how they have evolved, and the anomalies which are much higher than previously expected in some areas at least. Sea ice is a big area for us. I'm sure Jacob and colleagues will explain much more about that. We've been working on this in the Arctic for many years, and now also trying to use some of the same methodologies and ways to work with data processing in Antarctica with promising results. These were just a few highlights from some of the things that we work on, with perhaps some interest for you. Many other areas, of course, are also in our center of. We are approximately 80 researchers plus a number of other colleagues. So many areas, of course, is within our work, but these were a few highlights. And with that, I welcome you once again to Copenhagen and wish you a productive couple of days. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adrian. All right, the next one is a welcome from the GHRSST Science Team Chair and the Project Office.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So my name is Anna Carroll from UMETSAT. I'm also the GHRSST Science Team Chair since 2016. And I'd also just like to welcome you all to the meeting this morning. So this presentation is given together with Erika and Pia from the GHRSST Project Office. And yeah, I'd just like to say thank you very much to DMI and all the organisers for putting this meeting together this week. And it's a pleasure to be here. I just wanted to mention, obviously, sea surface temperatures in the last year have continued to have extremely warm sea surface temperatures. We've got the second warmest there on record. This example there from Meteorological Ocean kind of gives an example, and it shows and underpins the importance of what we're all doing here, and the importance and the criticality of everybody's activities and presentations this week. So it's really good to be here, and we can discuss many different aspects of this week. I just wanted to highlight a few new SST missions. So in the last year, we've had 2 geostationaries launched, one from ISRO, the INSAT 3DS, and the GOES 19. And there's also been the launch of HY4A, which is mainly a salinity mission, but also sea surface temperature from ENSOAS. Coming up soon, we have a few different missions. There's the eagerly awaited AMSA 3 from JAXA coming up very shortly. I hope we're going to hear from Masako this week. We've also got the first sounding geostationary satellite from EUMETSAT, the MTG-S1. And on that, there is an infrared sounder capable of measuring sea surface temperature. The next generation of the METOPS is also due to be launched this summer. And this will have the METIMAGE and the YASI next generation on there too. Sentinel-3C is now due to be launched October 2026. So that will continue the reference sea surface temperature measurements from SLSTR. And there's also the Trishna launch coming up soon, which is the ultra high resolution mission. So there's a whole wealth of different missions recently launched and coming up soon. So it's going to be very good to talk about all of these this week. There's definitely lots of data. I'd also just like to highlight the where we are with the GHRSST catalogue. So this is now available on the GHRSST web pages. So this really provides a portal for searching for GHRSST data information, and it can be continually updated as well. So if your data is not there, but you would like it included, then please come and talk to the GHRSST project office. It's now being highlighted to the top of the web page, so it's easy to find. So please go and have a look. Another important aspect this week will be discussions on the GHRSST data specification. So this kind of underpins a lot of what we do in terms of sharing and collaborating with GHRSST data. So there'll be some presentations later this week with Jean-François Piolet. A little note on the GHRSST project office. So this is hosted by the Danish Meteorological Institute. We have Erika as the main coordinator and Pia as the main project office scientist, with a whole team supporting them as well. It's funded by the European Union's Copernicus program via EUMETSAT. The current phase is coming to an end next year, so we do have a new open ITT out for the Copernicus GHRSST project office, which will come out this summer. I'd also just like to put a little note about my tenure as a chair. So that will be coming up. It's 10 years now, so it will be coming up this year. We are seeking new nominations, and we've already received one. So the GPO will be communicating on that process soon. And finally, I'd just like to say welcome, enjoy the meeting. Looking forward to many good discussions, and thank you again to DMI.
All right, so now we will just do a little welcome from the GPO here. So yes, I'm Erika, and if I hadn't already introduced myself, and then I have Pia here to my left. But yeah, so just to give you a little bit of a overview of who is actually part of this GPO, the GHRSST project office at DMI. So there's me, Pia, and then we also have Jakob here on stage, Joanna, who is not here, and we have Chiara, who is also, I'm sure most of you know, and then we also have Vivian, who's sitting at the back there. So this is the GHRSST project office team at DMI. So just to give a short overview of some of the main activities that the GPO is carrying out. So in terms of the main activities, the GPO is providing support to the GHRSST science team, the task teams, and the technical advisory groups. So helping to coordinate some of the activities that are going on in these groups here. The GPO also organizes the GHRSST annual meetings, so like this one now. And this year we are also the host, so it's a double whammy this year. And we also organize capacity building activities. So this could be trainings. It could also be where we go to an event and we hold a workshop online, for example. So we do that. And we also have an upcoming event. If anyone is going next week to the Living Planet Symposium, there will be a GHRSST session. So if you are going, then you should head over if you don't already plan to. And we also maintain GHRSST documentation. And we also maintain the website. So everything that you see on the website goes through the GPO. So if you have something, for example, a news story that you would like to share, or maybe feedback, you can always write to me about that. And then we also maintain the GHRSST social media accounts. So we have the LinkedIn's, which I hope most of you are following already. And we also have a new Blue Sky account that we have just set up. So it's very new. I think we have maybe 20 followers. So feel free if you do have a Blue Sky account to follow us. And I will find the link or our handle somewhere. I think it's in the slide coming up next, or at the end, sorry. But yes. So that's just a little bit about some of the main activities that the GPO is carrying out. But now I would like to sort of present the framework for this week for GHRSST26. So just to give you a little bit of an idea about who is in the room, because I think that's always nice to know. Even though a lot of you know each other, there may be some new faces here. But yeah, so when you registered for the event, you let us know some information. So including career level. So this year at GHRSST26, we have about an even mix of senior researchers and early career researchers, and then a little less mid-level. But that's just to say that that seems like a nice mix of participants here in the room and also online. And in terms of users and producers, you also gave some of that information during the registration, which was very nice. So we have about half our producers, and we have about 25% who are users, and then a little bit more than a quarter are both, or have identified as both. So this is just to give you an idea about who we are. And we have about 130 participants in person and online. So we have about 75 or so here in person, and then the rest are all online throughout the week. But yeah, so I just wanted to sort of present what we actually aim to achieve this week throughout with the meeting. So this week, we'd like to share key results, progress, and updates from the task teams in the agencies in GHRSST. We would also like to highlight any scientific advancements, but also challenges as well. We would also like to strengthen the collaboration across the GHRSST community, so everyone here in person and also online. We also want to identify areas for GHRSST training, especially with the focus on early career stages. So this year we are updating the GHRSST training plan. So we also want to take some of the outputs from this meeting to be put into the GHRSST training plan for especially early careers. And then we would also like to shape the priorities for GHRSST for the next 2 years. So that's an important outcome and something which Pia will elaborate a little bit more on.
Yes, hi everyone. So now I will tell you a bit about what you can expect this week, starting from today. So followed by this presentation, you will have the task team reportings. And in the end of the task team reporting session, Jakob will lead a discussion on some input and feedback that we have already got to the task teams, and also some possible maybe new task teams, or at least new activities to be taken up by some of the task teams. And it's also an opportunity for you to think about or maybe evaluate the task teams that are already there and provide some input. And after the task team reporting, we'll continue with the agency reporting. And then in the afternoon, we will have the poster pitches going up on this stage. And that's for you to get an overview of all the posters that are here, and also to maybe see some new faces. And then we'll have finally the poster session and the icebreaker. And then from tomorrow onwards, we have the science sessions. So tomorrow we start off with 3 science sessions, the 3 first ones listed here. And then we'll have 1 science session Wednesday, where we also have the team building in the afternoon. And then we have the final 2 sessions on Thursday. And as Erika already mentioned, we are, as a new thing, we're ending each of the science sessions with a discussion on the GHRSST priorities. So all the chairs have received some questions that they can raise during this discussion session. And they are all focusing on the GHRSST priorities for the next 2 years. So we're trying together to highlight some of the key scientific results, or challenges within each of these sessions. And also the main point is to identify the priority areas. And also, as Erika mentioned, some of the opportunities that might be for GHRSST training in the future. And then on Friday, each session chair will present each session chair will present the outcomes on this, and then we will see how we can move forward with this, the identified priorities, and how the task teams can maybe help on these priorities and who should be involved, and try to come up with a timeline for these. And you can also throughout the week provide input. Erika has made this QR code. You can also find it in the back of the room where you can go in and provide your input. On Friday, we have DGS workshop, and for that, your input is also needed. There are these 4 questions that you can find if you go into this QR code. And we'd like you all to do that before Friday. And yes, here we just listed some of the outputs from GHRSST26. So we have the proceedings of GHRSST26 as always. And then we would like to have an updated training plan and DGS evolutions. And maybe we'll have some new task teams created. Is that 2 minutes? Thank you.